It's 7 o'clock on Monday, the 22nd of January. This is the Select Board meeting for Jamaica. First order of business is a call for any late additions to the agenda. I actually have one regarding a letter to an regional council regarding the town plan from the Select Board, and I believe someone from the Planning Commission will be here to discuss that. Any other additions that we need to add?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
That's okay, I'll explain it to you later. We'll see if they show up.
What were your additions? Oh, if they showed up.
Yeah. Any other additions? Hearing none, moving on to the number 2, approve the minutes of the January 8th Select Board meeting and the January 9th special town meeting. Those are sent out electronically. First, let's do the January 8th meeting. This was the regular business meeting on January 8th. Any additions, corrections, deletions for the minutes for January 8th? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved then.
Have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes for January 8th. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any approved? Any opposed? Hearing none, they are accepted. The next one is for the January 9th special town meeting. Again, they were also sent out. This one, in addition to the usual, we need to get the town to sign. We have to get the select board members to sign it at the end of the night. This also was sent out electronically. Are there any questions, additions, or deletions to the minutes of the 9th of January special town meeting? That was the night we voted on the water feasibility study. Questions?
I move we approve the special town meeting that was held on January 9th for the water feasibility study minutes.
Excellent. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, then the minutes for the January 9th are accepted. And remind everybody to remind me at the end of the session so I don't forget that we got to sign this.
Joel, you said that, right?
What?
Joel? no.
Yes, Joel. Put that there so we don't forget. Number 3 is approve the time sheets for the town office, solicitors, highway, and transfer station. We traditionally do that at the end of the session. The next one is 4, sign the Selectboard Orders. We'll also do that so we don't keep everybody's time. Now, we have to discuss and sign the warning for the 2018 town meeting. And this is a draft of the warning.
Can I say something?
Sure.
If we want to look through it one by one, do we want to have Tom and Rebecca do their thing first? Or you don't mind? Okay,
Sure.
okay, no, he says it's all right, okay.
Are you representing the planning commission on this?
I'm not on the planning commission, I'm on the.
He's on the
Oh, that's
top.
right, I got you on the arts council.
Okay, never
You're
mind.
just such a talented guy, you could do anything.
Rebecca's
Are
on
you?
the planning
I could
commission.
possibly speak to the, I mean, I know what it is, I have the minutes from our meeting up.
Okay, then you can speak to
That
that.
just pulled in.
Yeah, but Veda might have come in. She might be more knowledgeable about
At
it,
least
but I can
prepared.
certainly tell you what it is.
Sure, okay, fine.
We'll do the warning then, actually.
Yeah, let's get these things that we need to get done out of the way, and then we'll have the time to do those hopefully. Did that give a copy to everybody?
No,
I'll just one for her.
okay.
The warning is pretty much the usual one. There's some changes for this year. I think if you look down 1 through 4, that's really close to the usual. The moderator for a year report for auditors and that sort of thing. Number 4 is to see what some of money the voters will vote to pay the town's running expenses and how it will be collected. We'll have the numbers from Terry, and she's had to make a change since we just got the.
That'll be available at town meeting day.
What's that?
That's available.
Yeah, that'll be available at that meeting, but we just got the assessment from Wyndham Solid Waste, so that changed things in our favor. Number 6, shall the voters authorize the select board to spend unanticipated funds such as grants, gifts, and interest? Number 7, to set the time for the opening of the next annual meeting. Number 8, to transact any other business that may legally come before this meeting. Does anybody have anything they want to add to this? This is just the draft. You can add or subtract anything you like. There's not a lot to subtract, actually. Any other topics?
You make a motion to accept the warning.
Except the warning?
I'll second.
All right. I've accepted. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the warning as presented?
Would you sign, please?
Oh, right here. I have it here, Judy.
Oh, you got it?
Sorry to interrupt.
No problem,
We were waiting for you and we just gave up.
but we like it.
All right, so, hearing none, let's, all in favor of accepting this, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the warning as presented is accepted. I'll give this to the town clerk tomorrow with her instructions. You guys,
We sign it.
yeah, we'll sign the thing.
Yeah, this is a draft, so
afterwards.
I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah, there'll be another sheet and we'll get it all signed. Number 6. There's an opening with the planning commission that has been kind of stringed for a couple of weeks. We got a letter from a gentleman named Brian Ziroff, and my understanding is he's been joining you in your sessions?
He was at our last meeting, yes,
That's good.
as an observer.
Observer,
Well,
finding his way, getting all seat. I sent this out to everybody. Has everybody had a chance to review the letter of interest? Do we have any discussion?
I think he seems extremely qualified.
He certainly does. Any questions? No? So I believe we can merely appoint him, but Lex, I'll defer. Do we need to vote to appoint him? Just appoint him.
We should do a motion.
We should do a motion?
Motion to
All right.
appoint him.
He's get fuzzy because of different commissions and stuff. All right, so all in favor of appointing
No,
Brian?
motion.
Motion.
I'll make the motion that we appoint him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Who
The
seconded?
motion is,
I make the motion that we appoint Brian Ziroff to the planning commission.
do I have a second?
Second.
Do you have any further discussion? Now, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Brian, next time you see him, tell him welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we used to have a thing in the military, you may recall, called the hail and farewell. And that generally meant that we say hi to all the new people and say goodbye to all the people who are leaving.
Right.
Remember those well?
Oh, well.
Next,
One of the best things the Army ever, or
the next
service
thing,
ever had.
the next item on the business is, number 7, discuss the upcoming planning commission and WRC vacancies. A little sad to see that, but we appreciate the heads up. There's a couple of things for you tonight, Beta. One is that, the vacancies, but also, you had said there's a letter we need to sign to WRC, is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Here it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just to request approval of the town.
I should go ahead and read it so everybody can have it.
Yeah.
This is a letter to Chris Campbell, Executive Director of the Wyndham Regional Commission, signed by me. Dear Chris, at its meeting of November the 13th, 2017, the town of Jamaica Select Board voted to adopt a new Jamaica Town Plan in conformance with 24 VSA, paragraph 4385, parenthesis C. I enclose a copy of the town plan for your records and request Regional Commission review and approval of it, and confirmation of Jamaica's planning process pursuant to 24 VSA, paragraph 4350. I will forward a copy of the plan to the Commissioner of the Department of Housing and Community Affairs. Now, this is a kind of a routine thing that we do all the time. Is there any questions about that? Failing that, I can be directed by the Select Board to sign this on behalf of the Select Board.
I move that we send that to the director of the Wyndham Regional Commission.
Second.
Have a second, is there any further discussion? Aside from thanking Veda and her crew for doing a superb job. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, thank you, ma'am. I will sign this, do you need that, or we're gonna send it, we're gonna send it out, right? Or do you
That
have
would
to
be
send
great.
it?
If you would send it, that would be perfect.
You're saying you probably should, your signature.
Veda, am I right that sometimes they will send it back, maybe suggesting something else as they read it?
Well, this is a form letter I got from John Bennett,
Oh, okay.
and he just said, insert town name here.
So maybe they have read it already.
I believe
It's
so.
It can still be amended though, isn't that correct?
Oh, you mean the town plan?
Yeah, the town plan.
Oh, yeah, we've worked, step by step with the Wyndham Regional Commission, and there is a committee that will review it.
Right.
Yeah, they've already read it, so.
Oh, they have already read it.
Yeah,
Okay.
John Bennett said that there's no reason why we shouldn't
Okay.
get approval, but
Okay.
it's a
Because
process.
I know sometimes they may not like the wording of something or other.
Oh,
They
yeah,
want it changed.
yeah.
But it sounds like you've worked with them all along, which is
And-
great.
Yeah, and our last town plan also had this
Yeah.
approval, so it's recommended. It's free, there's no reason
Price is right.
why not to do it.
I know he's been with us all on, because we've met him a couple of times ourselves. Right. All right, we will do that then.
Thank you.
Yes. There was some discussion about the protocol. Alexa, did you want to,
What
would you want to talk about that, the planning commission?
what do you mean protocol?
About, yeah, all right.
Because somebody asked, you'd asked.
Yeah, that we put out for potential applications, so we have people in the wings. Are you intending to finish your term?
Yes.
And are you still on the Wyndham Regional Commission? Are you resigning from that?
I'm resigning from that.
So then I think it would be to our advantage to put out requests for applications so that we have people ready when
Yes.
the time comes.
And then I think Lexa's point was about putting out advertising for a position that doesn't, an opening that doesn't exist yet. Is that,
I mean, we can,
Well, we can't hire anybody.
no, we can't hire anybody, we can let people know
Right.
through the television, through our meeting, that
Sure.
Veda is not going to, does not want to be appointed again. We appreciate all the work you've done on it, and certainly will miss you. And then we have another vacancy after, or will that make 5 if we get, are you the 5th person?
Yes,
You're the 5th person, so we just need 1.
right.
So we can, there is an opening for an appointment after town meeting, if anybody's interested. You can always put a little blurb out, poster out or something like that.
And also for Wyndham Regional Commission for a
And
commission.
Wyndham Regional Commission too.
It's been really good to have commissioners.
Right, we haven't had one because a lot of people aren't interested in, it's timely, time consuming, and traveling to Brattleboro and stuff like that, so.
probably, I was just thinking now that you bring it up, I hadn't thought about this before, but they probably ought to be advertised, the right word, separately. So
Yes.
it doesn't look like
Right,
one
no,
equals the other.
it's a separate,
Yeah, completely
2
separate.
separate
Yeah.
positions.
Alrighty then. So this is done. Oh, by the way, in case I forgot to say anything, you have done a tremendous job for this town, and I'm sad to see that you decided to better yourself and back to school. Obviously, it didn't work for me, so let's hope you have better luck at it than I. But we do appreciate everything you've done, it's been remarkable. Alrighty, the next item we have is to discuss the Arts Council.
Thank you.
We have, I'm sorry, Tom?
I'm Tom Tolbert. I'm representing the Arts Council. A couple of things that we wanted to talk about. As you remember, last year, you guys had been generous enough to waive our rental fees for the town hall in order for us to be able to purchase insurance, and we've done that, and we've done very well. As you know, last year we had 11 shows at the town hall. We've been very successful as an organization promoting those, and I think as a whole, the town is really happy with what we've been doing for the town. We're just coming back as we plan our 2018 schedule to see if you'd be willing to extend that again for this year. And again, just waiving our rental fees for the town hall, and then what we'll do is we clean up afterwards, and that again gives us the money so that we can purchase insurance and be a viable organization, because we can't afford to purchase it through the League of Towns and Cities and Towns in Vermont, and doesn't work for us. So that's what we're coming to ask you. The first thing we're coming to ask you, at least.
Do you know how many,
This year we're doing less shows than last year. I wanna
ballpark figure maybe?
Yeah, it's around $600. I mean, that's what we.
No, I mean, how many events are you going to have?
Oh, how many events we're gonna have? Currently, we're doing 1 a month. Last year we did 2 a month, so we've cut that in half. But we're having, so that would be on the third Thursday of every month. We're gonna do a show, and we're working on getting those slots filled. We're also gonna do a couple of special shows on some weekends. So maybe 10 shows. That's what we're kind of looking
For the
at.
summer?
That's
From,
correct.
What, April or May or something?
Starting in April.
April to?
April through October. So at this point, we're also looking at potentially partnering with a West River Citizens Project, which is down at the West River, or Community Project, I'm sorry, West River Community Project, and they're the people we partnered with for the Martin Luther King event last Monday. I'm meeting with Jay Warren from their group just to kind of have discussions if we want to have some potential potluck dinners to discuss different Martin Luther King, social justice and those types of things. So that would be a separate event that we'd be doing more on a regular basis as well.
Okay, and West River, what was it called?
Community Project.
Just off the top, because I don't remember, what's the rental fee for the
It's
movie?
$25, I think, wasn't it?
$25, and you said there's
$50, that's $50.
$50, and you got, let's say, 10?
Yeah, thereabouts. It's about $500, and our insurance is
And that kind of
$600 a year.
covered- I think them not paying the rental fee covered the cost of the insurance.
Insurance, yeah. that's
Right,
what I'm
there's
saying.
just
So we sort of offset it, and then if there's anything extra, like with the West River Community, if they found something extra, then you'd have to sort of, pay.
Okay, if we went above the 10 or.
If you went
Last year we had
way
12
above.
events, because we had 600 last year,
Right.
so yeah, so if we went above.
I'm sure you'll
12
stay the
events-
same, but just.
It's gonna be about the same, that's our goal, is 1 or 2 a month. 2 would be the most, we just don't have the time to do more than that. That's really what the issue is for us.
And that worked out well.
Capacity.
What's the draw? How many people do you generally get?
We get anywhere, usually 30 to 40,
Really?
I would say. We can get more than that. I mean, the Bob Dylan show, tribute show last year was our largest show. We had about 90 people.
Really?
We actually had overflow outside of the hall because it was so full. Generally, on a typical show, 40 to 50. So we do okay,
And what do they charge?
We charge $10 donation, and then the band gets $200 plus half of the door. So we try to break even.
Yeah.
So you're really not making money on it?
We're not really making money, no. We try to be fair to the bands, and so on and so forth, so yeah.
Where does your insurance come from?
It's from a company called the Cincinnati Insurance Company.
Okay, and you guys are paying that?
I just paid a bill for it on Monday, or not, it's Monday today, so it would have been on Friday. I paid the bill on Friday, yeah. So we pay for it quarterly, is how we structure it. And it's whatever, 170 a quarter or something like that.
But you make enough money to pay for the insurance?
Yeah, so yeah, we try.
Yeah.
Well, our structure that we've sort of restructured, what we're trying to do is have fundraisers like the craft show. We're doing the craft show again. We're going to be doing the a famous singer's tribute. So Bob Dylan, we thought John Prine or something like that. And those are really our fundraising events where we actually do really well, and then we use that money to kind of pay down our expenses.
It's my understanding that you have chosen not to be a part of the town, but your own individual.
I think they've always been separate.
We've been separate. We could explore that. I'm not against exploring it. I mean, I can't speak for the whole organization. I know Pat and I have had conversations about that, Pat Nealman's. It would be a conversation we'd have to have with the town, and we'd have to agree on all those types of things.
I think
Currently,
it's
we're
best that they stay separate from the town.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier for our treasurer.
I think it
Yeah.
used to be, though, that
I
they
think
were
it may
part
have
of
been
the
part of
town.
the town at one point.
Yes,
I'm
it
not-
was,
I'm not
and
clear
then
on
they
the
went
history.
off on their own, but, we've kind of supported them.
We've supported them, yeah, which
As,
makes life a lot easier
Yeah.
for us and
As
for
long as
them.
they,
And they
as
can,
long as you carry the insurance,
Right.
that's the
And-
most
and
important piece.
We are a Vermont nonprofit, we're a 501c3. In Vermont, we've
Yeah.
never gone the national route where we've done that because there's more expense
Oh,
around that,
very
but we
much
are in
more.
the state of Vermont to hit 501c3.
Good.
Nonprofit.
So we just keep it the same, or do we need a motion?
I think we should probably, because it's a new year, we should make a motion that,
Yeah. Do we want to, we gave 600 last year, if I
we
remember.
didn't, we waived the,
Just waived it.
we
We waived the
waived
fee.
the,
The rental
the
fee.
rental fee for the Jamaica Arts Council.
Do we need to put a dollar figure on it? Can we just do that as needed?
Just as needed, because it's usually $500 or $600, so basically, I could look at the last minutes, but I think,
My brain says 6, but I don't remember why I
It
said
was
it.
600 is what we did last
Oh,
year.
was that what it was?
I think
600, okay.
Because last year we had the schedule set a little more. We had our meeting last Tuesday, so we're just fleshing everything out. Not quite there yet, but we're close to figuring out our schedule and getting it up, getting it published.
But I think I'd use the same figures.
Okay, so we really didn't need to do anything, we're just gonna give you the same on the budget, and the budget is in process of being finished.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we don't give them any money.
We don't get any
They
money.
don't get
No,
any
no,
money.
do
It's
we
a
budget
wash.
it? We put the budget in? Oh, we didn't add it to the budget?
No, they,
Evens out.
they just don't pay us the rental fee.
I understand it, but it wasn't. put in the
It's a
budget.
revenue, so it wouldn't be in our revenue, in our revenue.
Not a problem.
Okay. Second thing is, and I talked to Judy about this, we would like to
But
purchase,
we need a motion for
oh,
that.
sorry. let's-
You need a motion
To approve that we will pay, we will, waive their
rental
fee.
Sure.
Okay, who wants to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
that
Joe,
we
go ahead.
waive their rental fee
In lieu of insurance.
in lieu of their rental fee. And
It
they'll
should
get
come
their
from
insurance out of
Joel
the-
Katz, excuse me, it comes from him.
I'm sorry.
What did I get?
Waive rental, I keep writing
Waive
rental.
That
Yeah.
we waive the rental fee for the town hall for the Arts Council.
Right. Okay, that's all right. Second, who's going to second that?
I'll second that.
Judy, okay.
Any further discussion? I like the idea of keeping it simple rather than mentioning all the other stuff, it just complicates it. I like it that way. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're going to waive your rental fee.
Thank you. The second thing we wanted to
That
have,
does mean, of course, that we get good seats.
of course you do, anytime you come in, I always reserve the front row for the select
But you
board.
still have to pay the fee there.
All right.
Okay.
The second thing, I talked to Judy a little bit about this. I've gone to some shows over in Wardsboro, and they do it a little bit different. They have round tables in there, so it's almost like a dinner theater. And we've talked about doing that here. I mean, the chairs are great. We have the seats. So the Arts Council was going to purchase some tables. We want to purchase 6 to 8 round tables. We want to store them in the town hall. We would own them as an organization, but we want to keep them there. And if anyone else needed to use them, they'd be welcome to do so. But I just wanted to have a conversation with the select board before we,
This is dinner theater with no dinner.
yeah, something like that.
Bring your own.
People can bring in what they want, you know.
Yeah, just put your name on
BYO
it.
but not B.
Yeah, well, that's what we'll do. I just wanted to have a conversation with you before we start storing stuff in the town. I was like, where do these round tables come from?
I think there's enough space there.
Yeah, I believe there is two in the back area behind the stage.
Where are the other tables, though? Are they
There,
up on stage?
right now, they usually are stored in the back.
They're stored in the back.
Sometimes 1 or 2 sitting out, depends on what event happened and how people have cleaned up. Right now, actually, they're leaning on the front of the stage because that's where I put them after the last event, so. I kind of keep an eye on things and kind of keep things put away. I try to keep things put away as we finish shows and do
Which
things.
is really appreciated.
Are we leaving those circuit breakers on now?
They have to stay on.
Yeah, they
We
want.
don't turn them off. We never.
Okay, we don't want to turn anything off? Okay, I wasn't aware of that because I
No, we just
know.
turn the heat off and that's it.
Okay.
Just the.
Just the
on
second
stage,
one.
the
Yeah, because that's.
No, you go
extremely
to
important.
under the stage. and
Oh,
turn
that
the
one, just
heat
turn
off.
that
That's
one?
all
Okay,
you
don't
turn
touch
off.
that one, okay.
That's all you have to
That's good to
turn
know
off.
because I wasn't aware of that. and I'm-
Yeah.
Is that
you don't
usually
touch
when it shuts it
anything
down?
else.
We don't leave the heat on for the pipes?
Yes,
In the
It's a
bathroom,
separate
bathroom.
the bathroom has a separate heater and it's on
Okay.
55 and it takes care of everything. There's a heater on the pipes down there. There's an automatic heater when it gets to a certain temperature. It comes on
Just because I've dealt with this a couple of times, do we have a set temperature when we leave?
For the
For the
bathroom?
main?
No, in the winter, we turn it off, because the last time we left it on, we were told to leave it on because there was some events going, and because that building is not insulated, windows, you probably have a whole window with using all of them together, and it used up all of our fuel. We had to,
So we should turn.
Yes, Tom and I.
Jumping through
So we have to-
that, we go Monday. That
What
was-
what is off? Is there an off switch on the thermostat?
There's a-
you go up the
Yeah.
stage, up on the stage, where the curtains are, there's, like in your house, a red thing, a
Okay,
red
furnace switch.
furnace switch, you turn that off. That's the only switch you have to turn off. You don't touch any of the breakers,
Okay.
nothing.
Okay, that's good to know, because, again, I know, I shut it down, I shut everything off, except for a couple, I know which ones to leave on.
Right, no, we
The
don't.
heat, no, so I'll leave those on, and I'll
put
let
a
other
big
people
sign
know
there,
in
keep
our.
hands off.
We should do that.
You make sure the lights off.
Well, we turn the lights off, yeah.
We
Yes.
didn't even know that Barrows was the fuel people, and I'm calling everybody over the sun to say, well, please bring some extra fuel because we have an emergency program going here. And finally, they were really good. They came
They
up.
came twice, actually.
Yeah, they
Put out
came
some oil,
up
then
to
he came
fix it,
back,
and then
I
also
let him
to
under
bring
the
us
stage,
fuel,
and he was
so-
all in there looking at that.
So
I wish we
that's-
could get something that would tell us when our fuel is low.
Without having to crawl in the basement.
Instead of taking, you have to open up the crawl space, get a
Yeah.
ladder, crawl down there,
Yeah,
and
which is not
there's
fun.
spiders probably in mice, and I'm not going down there. Sorry.
That's what I went down to check it out. and
You
said,
can.
"No, That's fine, I have a problem with that."
There must be something that we
It
can,
must be a remote.
I wonder if there is, yeah, if there was, you could get a device
I don't
and
know.
put it on there, I mean,
Oh, I'm sure there's available.
wireless or
I'm
something,
sure
you connect to
there's-
the wireless and
for a
text
price that you
somebody.
can get anything.
You know, for a price, you probably cheaper.
Somebody to
some
go
way to
down
do
there
that.
once a day and check.
I think what
Real little
did us
guy.
in was the fact that we left it on from that meeting that was there on Thursday,
Mhm.
all the way to.
Because there was a couple events and they wanted
Yes,
left
yeah.
on.
to the
and blah, blah,
Monday.
blah, and
So,
So
and then it just kept running and running
it
and
just
running
ran,
and
and
running
heated
and
the
running.
outside.
That was cold.
It
And
was.
it was very cold, that we were zeros.
I mean, even if it
Those
wasn't
things.
cold,
But it was cold, a couple of days were cold,
right,
yeah.
but even if it wasn't that cold, it would still run out.
All right, so we've decided we're gonna do that.
Okay, so I'll put I'll buy the tables
Well-
sometime in the coming weeks and,
Real quick,
yes.
what's the difference in capacity with the round tables than the chairs?
Oh, I think it'd be less. I mean, it would be, what we would probably do is have some chairs in the front and then set up some tables in the back, have a candle, and usually what they did was they put like a little tablecloth on it and.
Sure.
and
No,
it
what
was
I
kinda
would
nice.
suspect that would cut
You'll have to
down.
get-
Yeah, I think they were doing 5 or 6 per table. If we did 8 tables, that's about 50 people, and then you put a couple of rows of chairs and the stuff on the side, and you're looking at about 50, 60. That's a good show for us. I mean, that's not.
And I think you have to get those candles
We're
that
not-
are pre-lit.
Yes, the electric ones, that's what they use. We don't use,
Yeah.
yeah, no fire, electric, the little flickery ones, yeah, so that's what they had.
The one thing that we have to be very careful about is the occupancy cannot be over 125.
Oh, is that what it
Yes.
is? Okay.
Because it changes our whole status of what we are, so
If
that's.
you get up to 125, you'll be smiling, we'll be able to see
I
it
know.
for miles.
Well, and Bob Dylan, we did. We had to start, I mean, it was just full, and we like had to start turning people out, and we estimated that was about 90.
Good.
And to get another 30 people in there, that would have been crazy. I don't think we could have, I don't think it's
So you just
even
have to.
feasible.
That's
I
good.
think there's 100 chairs to 110 chairs,
Oh, really?
so you can't, then you're talking people standing room only and those types of things, so.
Yeah,
But you sell tickets for it, so you can know how many people.
We know how many, we count too. We don't usually pre-sell, but no, because we don't have a mechanism to do that. We've talked about it, we're thinking about it, but just the whole thing is that we count people as they come in and then we sort of manage it.
It occurs to me, some of us may remember this, but if you have a Bob Dylan memorial concert or whatever,
Yeah.
to have standing room only is retro.
Yeah, right, there you go.
Most people copy Bob Dylan standing room only anyway.
Well, it was a nice night, so we overflowed on the side, and
Yeah.
people were standing outside, but then a lot of them became frustrated, and they were like, we don't want to be here.
We
because
turned
We can't
around
hear it.
and went
Sure.
home.
But it was good, that was a good turnout. We're hoping to do, like I say, either John Prine, or I've heard Waylon Jennings, I don't know, we haven't really decided on the person we're gonna do this year, but we've also flirted with the idea of moving it to the ball field. and doing a concert down there where it's open and outside,
Yeah.
and we could, the problem is there's no electricity down there.
Does your insurance cover that?
Our insurance covers wherever we have an event. That's, as long as we're there. So that's how that would work. If we were to do something like that, we'd come to you again to say we're moving to the, talk to the rec committee, which I'm part of too, but to say we want to use that. It would be late summer after baseball's done. But we could fit a lot more people. There's parking down there. There's actually some facilities for food.
Right.
It's a good idea, but again, if it rains, then now what do we do? And there's really very limited electricity down there. People are doing any electric instruments and amplification is really going to be limited. We'd have to go to the trailer park above and try to get somebody to let us use the power. So there's complications around that. We'll let you know if we decide to go down that route.
I'm sorry, my brain is flashing to concerts when I was concert going, and raining on a rock concert sounds kind of retro. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well said, thank you very much. By the way, thanks for your service in this regard. I mean, you've done a great job with this, and the fact that it's growing enough so you're thinking about having to do an outdoor venue really suggests a lot of success in your part.
We're hoping. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
And
very
I
much, sir.
can report that he's really great to work with.
Is he?
So,
Maybe we'll find out
so
something.
much.
All right, time for public concerns. Do we have any public? I see one hand raised.
We thought.
You're on, sir.
I just want to give the select board kind of an update on international news.
International news.
International news. I heard on the radio this morning that China, as of March 1st, is no longer accepting recyclables. And I suspect that eventually that will run all the way down to the town.
I've already reported that to our,
So, all right, so good. I'm glad that you
we're on
guys
the
are
same
up to date.
wavelength.
Well, since you brought it up, you want to explain it briefly?
Yeah, basically, we're going to have a problem because of what to do with the recyclables. And I see that off in the future. I don't think we have to really react to it right now, but the fact is that Paul and I were joking that what we would really recommend is that the Chinese make or use some of that in their new island that they're producing. And then you talked about having an area where they have already been using it. So the problem is that it is going to be a problem for the recyclables. But I don't know when that's going to really affect us directly, but according to the ANR, rules, the Agency of Natural Resources, which actually is what governs Wyndham solid waste materials. And that they are in the process of changing some of the rules that we've been working with because of this problem. So it has reached the upper echelon of Vermont, but not down here yet. So we've been listening to the same program.
Right, okay. Well, thank you for letting me say my piece.
You're always welcome. Any further public?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Oh, I have a motion to adjourn and a second. Any further discussion? Anything else we need to talk about? Boy, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We stand adjourned for the record.
Wow,
All right, we need to sign this, don't anybody?